What is up, horror hounds, console conspiracists, and dedicated disciples of the single most secretive, most sensational, and most utterly impossible console launch in history? Lock in your theories, check your sanity levels, and brace yourselves because the shadow war between hardware giants just got sensationally, terrifyingly real. We are talking about a secret so massive, so profoundly important to the future of gaming, that it involves the studio holding the most precious, most terrifying IP of all, Bloober Team, the masters sensationally tasked with creating the Silent Hill 2 remake. The whispers have become a scream. A massive industry leak has sensationally confirmed that Bloober Team is preparing to bring their flagship horror title, the graphically gorgeous, mind-bending experience known as Layers of Fear, to the one console that doesn't even officially exist yet, the Nintendo Switch 2. This is not just a port, this is the ultimate sensational proof that the Switch 2 is real, powerful, and ready for high-stakes, next-generation horror, but the implications are catastrophic. Why would the Silent Hill 2 remake studio be distracted? Are they testing the waters? Or is this a sensational, coded message about the future of horror on Nintendo's new hardware for the next monumental block of time? We are embarking on a 9,000-word journey of forensic, pixel-by-pixel dissection of this impossible leak. We will sensationalize the specific technical power of the Switch 2. That Layers of Fear will utilize. Analyze the terrifying implications for the progress of the Silent Hill 2 remake. Explore the deep, dark conspiracy about the real reason Nintendo courted Bloober. And celebrate the sheer, glorious terror of this new era. This is not just a game port. This is a hardware testing ground, a psychological corporate thriller, and the ultimate test of next-gen horror. Grab your sanity pills. Because the console secrets are out, let's start with the sensational, inescapable conclusion. The Bloober Team leak is the ultimate smoking gun that the Nintendo Switch 2 is real, powerful, and imminent. For months, the console has been shrouded in a wall of secrecy. Now, a major AAA horror studio is sensationally confirming its development plans for the unreleased hardware. The power test theory: Bloober Team is not porting Pong. They are porting Layers of Fear, a game defined by its complex, mind-bending graphics, sophisticated lighting, ray tracing, and intense, high-fidelity psychological horror. The sensational implication is that Nintendo needs Bloober Team to stress test the new hardware. They are using Layers of Fear to prove that the Switch 2 can handle complex, modern engines. We will dedicate a massive segment to analyzing the specific graphical features like volumetric, fog, and dynamic shadows that Layers of Fear will utilize to prove the Switch 2's power. The handheld horror hypothesis: the Switch 2's power must be immense to run Layers of Fear without massive visual compromises. The sensational question is, will this horror masterpiece run flawlessly in handheld mode? If Bloober Team can achieve that, it instantly validates the entire Switch 2 strategy, a portable console capable of running true next-gen horror. This is the ultimate sensational marketing coup for Nintendo. The release window conspiracy: a studio as high-profile as Bloober wouldn't sensationally leak this unless the console's launch window was extremely close. The conspiracy is that this leak is actually a controlled, targeted release of information designed to soften the market for a surprisingly early Switch to reveal. We will analyze the specific financial quarters where this port must land, providing a sensational prediction for the console's release date. The sensational terror surrounding this leak isn't just about Nintendo. It's about the fate of the Silent Hill 2 remake. Bloober Team is currently under immense pressure to deliver the remake of one of the most sacred horror games ever made. The community is already rife with sensational speculation and doubt. The question now is this Switch-to project a fatal distraction or a strategic necessity? The split focus fear, the sensational fear is that Bloober Team's high-level developers, the ones responsible for the lighting, atmosphere, and psychological density of Silent Hill 2 are now splitting their focus onto the Switch-to port of Layers of Fear. This could sensationally slow down the already delayed and much maligned SH2 remake development cycle. The community outrage is warranted. We must analyze the specific rumored size of the Bloober Team studio and calculate the risk of developer burnout. The engine parity conspiracy, the more optimistic sensational theory is that this is a necessary technical exercise. Both Silent Hill 2 Remake and Layers of Fear likely use similar versions of the Unreal Engine. By optimizing Layers of Fear for the Switch 2, Bloober Team is sensationally future-proofing the SH2 Remake for potential later ports to the new hardware. This is a strategic move designed to ensure cross-platform compatibility. The SH2 Switch-to speculation, the ultimate sensational conspiracy, is that the Switch-to port is a secret test for a future Silent Hill 2 Remake Switch-to release. Nintendo is using Layers of Fear as a dry run to see if their hardware can handle the dark, demanding atmosphere of the SH2 Remake. This would turn the Switch 2 into a sensationally legitimate horror platform. The final piece of this sensational puzzle is the simple truth. Nintendo needs a strong, adult horror presence for the Switch 2. And Bloober Team is their chosen champion. The original Switch was sensational, but it was sensationally lacking in high fidelity. Mature horror titles that could compete with PlayStation and Xbox. This changes now. The mature content mandate. Nintendo is sensationally signaling a shift. They want the Switch 2 to be taken seriously as a console for mature, M-rated content using the deeply disturbing psychological terror of Layers of Fear as one of the first next-gen titles is a massive, sensational statement. It's Nintendo telling the world, we are grown up now, and we can handle the blood and the paranoia. We will analyze the specific history of censorship and mature content on Nintendo consoles, and how this leak utterly shatters those old constraints. The psychological terror advantage. Layers of Fear relies heavily on the psychological breaking of the environment hallucinations, impossible architecture, and objects moving on their own. These effects require raw processing power. The fact that this game is coming to the Switch 2 proves the console has the necessary muscle to render these sensational, mind-bending effects flawlessly. The future horror crossover, if Bloober Team's Layers of Fear is a sensational success on the Switch 2, it opens the floodgates. It proves that the console can handle franchises like Resident Evil, Outlast, and other high-fidelity horror titles. This single port is the Trojan horse that sensationally brings true adult horror to the Nintendo faithful horror hounds. The terror is spreading. The Bloober Team leak confirming the Layers of Fear port to the Nintendo Switch 2 is the ultimate sensational convergence of corporate conspiracy and high-stakes horror. The silence around the new console is broken, and the fear is palpable. This move sensationally validates the Switch 2's power and throws the fate of the Silent Hill 2 remake into question. The only certainty is that the next generation of handheld gaming is about to get sensationally, terrifyingly dark. Do not miss a single moment of this impossible hardware race. We will be following every official Nintendo announcement, every performance test of Layers of Fear on the new console, and every single rumor about the Silent Hill 2 remake, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is absolutely smashed, because you do not want to miss the ultimate guide to the Switch 2 Sensational Secret.